student, so you all know that our chapter respiration in plants is going on and the unit is plant physiology. Today we'll study about respiratory balance sheet and we'll calculate the net gain of ATP for every glucose molecule oxidized. And then we'll study about amphibolic pathway and respiratory quotient. First of all, let's study about respiratory balance sheet. Uh, these calculations can be made only on certain assumptions that take place in the cell. This is a sequential orderly pathway functioning with one substrate forming the next and with glycolysis, TCA cycle and electron transport pathway following one after the another. Actually, this sequence doesn't occur in the cell. This is only assumption. The NADH synthesized in glycolysis is transferred into the mitochondria and undergoes oxidative phosphorylation. None of the intermediates in the pathway are utilized to synthesize any other compound. Only glucose is being respired. No other alternative substrate are entering in the pathway at any of the intermediary stages. Net gain of 36 ATP molecules during aerobic respiration of one molecule of glucose. So we can see like in glycolysis 8 ATP molecules are formed and in Krebs cycle 30 ATP molecules are formed. 4 NADH are equivalent to 12 ATP, 1 GDP is equal to 1 ATP and 1 FADH is equal to 2 ATP. So these are going to make glycolysis plus Krebs cycle are going to make 38 ATP molecules. Now let us compare fermentation and aerobic respiration. Fermentation accounts for only a partial breakdown of glucose, whereas in aerobic respiration it completely degrades into carbon dioxide and water. In fermentation, there is net gain of only 2 molecules of ATP for each molecule of glucose degraded to pyruvic acid, whereas many more molecules of ATP are generated under aerobic conditions, as I have already told you earlier. That is in aerobic respiration conditions, 36 or 38, and it's in differences in prokaryotes and eukaryotes are formed. NADH is oxidized to NAD rather slowly in fermentation. However, the reaction is very vigorous in case of aerobic respiration. Now let's study amphibolic pathway. Now we all know that glucose is the favored substrate for respiration. All carbohydrates are usually first converted into glucose before they are used for respiration. Other substrate can also be respired as we have studied earlier, but then they don't enter the respiratory pathway at the first step. So we must see that fats would need to be broken down into glycerol and fatty acids first. If fatty acids are to be respired, they would first be degraded to acetyl coenzyme A and then enter the pathway. Glycerol would enter the pathway after being converted into PGAL, and then the proteins would be degraded to by proteases, and the individual amino acids after deamination depending on their structure would enter the pathway at some stage within the Krebs cycle as or even as pyruvic acid or acetyl coenzyme A. So, since respiration involves breakdown of substrate, the respiratory process has traditionally been considered a catabolic process and the respiration pathway as a catabolic pathway. But is this understanding correct? No. We all know that respiratory pathway, some substances are getting synthesized, means anabolism and catabolism are going on sideways. Hence, fatty acids would be broken down to acetyl coenzyme A before entering the respiratory pathway when it is used as substrate. But when the organism needs to synthesize fatty acids, acetyl coenzyme A would be withdrawn from the respiratory pathways and now it is the anabolic process. So these are better, we are calling these are amphibolic pathway because it's neither catabolic neither anabolic, but both processes are going on simultaneously. Now let's study what is respiratory quotient. So during aerobic respiration, oxygen is consumed and carbon dioxide is released. The ratio of the volume of carbon dioxide evolved to the volume of oxygen consumed in respiration is called respiratory quotient or respiratory ratio. So respiratory quotient or respiratory ratio is equal to volume of carbon dioxide evolved divided by volume of oxygen consumed. It will depend upon the respiratory substrate. Just like if the substrate is carbohydrate, it is completely oxidized. So respiratory quotient will be equal to 1. Carbon dioxide and oxygen, equal amount of carbon dioxide is evolved and equal amount of oxygen is consumed. So you can see in the this reaction, this 6 molecules of carbon dioxide are evolving and 6 molecules of oxygen are consumed. So respiratory quotient will be 1. So in fats, respiratory quotient will be less than 1. Now in this reaction, you can see this is the this is tripalmitin plus 145 oxygen, and when these both are reacting, then 102 molecules of carbon dioxide evolved and 98 molecules of water are evolved and energy is produced. So here you can say respiratory quotient is equal to 102 carbon dioxide evolved divided by 145 molecules of oxygen consumed. That will be equal to 0.7. Likewise, we can do for proteins, and these are just like proteins for our respiratory quotient is 0.9. So this is the respiratory quotient, means how much oxygen is consumed and how much carbon dioxide is evolved. The ratio of that will be called respiratory quotient. So this with this we'll be finishing this chapter, and back exercise we'll be doing in the live classes.